Okay, guys, so we've done our ands, and now we're going to work on our ors. And remember from the very first video or the graphic that's on our daily page, your ands are your overlaps, and your ors are going to go in either direction, so right or left. So we are going to solve these. These are written separate as ors, so you're not going to have to rewrite them or take them apart per se. So we're just going to solve each one. So 10n is less than or equal to negative 100. N over 4 is less than or equal to negative 1. And we're going to solve each of these separately, like they're not related. So we're going to take on the one on the left first. That's a negative 10 times n. So the inverse of multiplication is going to be that division of a negative 10. Ding, 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 ding. That's division of a negative. So since it is division of a negative, remember this is that golden rule of inequalities. So I did use it. I have to flip my inequality for my final answer. So negative 10 divided by, or negative 100 divided by negative 10 is a positive 10. And you just flip it right after you have that operation occur. So n is going to be greater than or equal to 10. We're going to go up to 10. Equal to means I know I'm going to shade that in. Do your test point. 0 is greater than or equal to 10. That is not true. So you are going to shade away from 0. 0 is to the left, so we're going to go over here to the right. All right, so two-step equation, that's n divided by 4. So the inverse of division is multiply. We are multiplying by a positive 4. So this is not one of those cases for that golden rule of inequalities. We just have to multiply by a positive 4. N is less than or equal to negative 1 times 4. It's going to be negative 4. So we're going to go up to negative 4. It's an equal to, so we're going to have a solid circle. We could do our test point. Is 0 less than or equal to negative 4? It is not. So you are going to shade away from 0 again. So we're going to shade away from 0. And that has our two arrows going in opposite directions. That's a great sign because this does say or. All right, I challenge you, number 12, pause the video and just practice solving your equations. Because if you mess up, no big deal. It's just notes. And you have to mess up a couple times before you get really good at it. So get after it and come back and check in with me. All right, so our first one, great divide. B divided by 4. So we're going to multiply by 4. Those 4s are going to go away because that is the inverse of division. It is a positive 4, so that's awesome. So B is less than or equal to a negative 8. That negative is not a big deal. If that 4 had been negative, then you would have flipped the sign, but it was not. Because remember, the golden rule says divide or multiply by a negative is the only time you flip the signs. So I'm going to go up to negative 8. It isn't equal to, so I'm going to shade that in. I'm going to do my test point. Is 0 less than negative 8? It is not. So I'm going to shade away from 0 because 0 is over here to the right. Now we're going to solve the next one. We have B in our box, so we need to subtract 2 from both sides. So B is going to be greater than or equal to 2 minus 2 is going to be 0. So we know we can go up here at 0. Open circle or closed. It's going to be closed because that equal to. Then we do our test point. 0 doesn't really help us out much since we're already there. So I'm going to choose 2 because that's going to be the other one. So is 2 greater than or equal to 0? And I just chose one out here to the right because I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be an or. So they should go opposite. That is correct. That is correct. So we are going to shade in that direction towards that positive 2. Right there. And then just so we don't get confused, our answers were this one, this one. So both are the correct answers for that number 11 and 12. All right. 2 more for this video. So again, they're written as ors. You don't have to rewrite them. I just rewrite them for extra space. If 4x plus 10 is greater than or equal to 6. And again, I challenge you to pause your video, try them, and then come back and check your answers. All right, so our first one, 4x plus 10. Great divide. I need 4x by itself. So I'm going to subtract 10 from both sides. 4x is greater than or equal to 6 minus 10 is going to be a negative 4. I need to get the 4 off the x because, again, your goal is always to get x by itself. We're going to divide by 4 because that's 4 times x, and the inverse of multiplication is division. So get rid of those. So x, we did divide by positive, so we're fine here. Negative 4 divided by positive 4 is going to be negative 1. Go up to negative 1. There's our -1. It isn't equal to, so we're going to shade him in. We can try our test point. Is 0 greater than -1? It is, indeed. That's their answer. So we are going to shade towards 0, which is to the right, with a solid circle. I'm going to go after this next one. So variable, we're going to add 10, because that's the opposite of that subtraction, and that makes that 0 out on that side. So 3x is less than or equal to, if I owe you 34 and I pay you 10, I'm going to owe you 24. Then we need to divide by 3, because that's 3 times x, and the inverse of multiplication is division, because again we need these to 0 out. So x, -24 divided by 3 is going to be a -8. We divided by positive, so we're perfectly good still. So we can go over to our -8, draw an open circle, decide is it colored in? It is, because there's an equal to. Then we can do our test point. Is 0 less than or equal to -8? 0 is not less than or equal to -8. So you do not want to shade towards 0. We're going to shade away from 0, which works again because we know it's an or, so it should be going in 2 different directions. And again, those are both solid circles because of that equal to. All right, last example for the basic ones with variables on one side. I'm going to rewrite for space. You can be rewriting or you could be working it and my video be paused. All right, we're going to box in that -8a and move what's around it. So we're going to subtract 9 from both sides because that is a positive 9 and we want these to cross out. And -8a comes down. And then 81 minus 9 is going to give us 72 positive because I had 81 and I lost 9. Then I need to get this -8. Did you hear it? -8. One more time for those in the back. -8. Start it. That means that's another one of those golden rule of inequalities. So we're going to have to flip our sign. So these guys cross out. A, flip our sign. 72 divided by 8 is going to give me a -9 because of that division of a negative. So positive, negative, divide gives me a negative. So this is our answer. Go up here to -9. Which is going to be right there in the middle. And then we are going to shade towards, is 0 less than -9? It is not, so we're going to shade away from 0, which is going to be to the left, because 0 is over here to the right. It is an open circle because there's no equal to. And then on to the last one for this video. We're going to add 4 because that's a subtraction. -4 and +4 is what will give me 0 on this side because we got to get rid of those. So 9a is greater than 14 plus 4 is going to be 18. That's 9 times a, and the inverse of multiplication is division. So we're going to divide both sides by a +9, which is perfectly great. Nothing needs to flip because it's positive. And 18 divided by 9 is going to be 2. So I'm going to go to +2, open circle, come back and make sure, does it stay open or do we close it? It is stay open. And then if we do our test point, is 0 greater than 2? It is not. So you are not going to shade towards 0. You are going to shade away from 0, which is perfect because that keeps our arrows going in opposite directions as they should for an OR function. All right, and open circles because there's no equal to. Great job, guys. Next video is going to be down here with you guys where there's variables everywhere. Hang in there. See you in a bit.